This is Think Out Loud on OPB. I'm Dave Miller. For the first time in nearly 50 years, the largest fencing tournament in the world is coming back to Portland. The 2026 USA Fencing National Championships and July Challenge starts tomorrow. Over 6,000 fencers from all around the country, ranging in age from 7 to 89, will fill the Oregon Convention Center for 10 days. I'm joined now by two fencers who are taking part. Michael McTeague has been competing and coaching for almost 50 years. He is a previous executive director of the nonprofit Northwest Fencing Center. Sandra Marchant is a national fencing champion who will be coaching and competing. She is no stranger to Portland. She frequently travels here to host a women's-only summer fencing camp called the Athena Project. Michael and Sandra, it's great to have both of you on the show.
It's great to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Michael, I mentioned you've been fencing for close to 50 years. What first drew you to it?
Oh, wow. Well, I was actually a track athlete and pretty good at it, but still had to take a gym class in college. And I liked Errol Flynn movies, so I jumped in. I don't know what happened, but within 6 weeks I was off the track team and joined the fencing team, and I've been fencing ever since.
You left and you'd gone to college thinking you'd run?
Yeah, I ran all through high school and assumed that I'd be running all through college. And
you say you don't know what happened, but I'm going to push you a little bit to see if you can remember back to something about fencing that made you drop what you were very good at and continue on this new sport, this new path.
I think it's because I love puzzles, and every time you fence, you have a new puzzle you have to solve from second to second. Huh. And being slightly ADD, I found that type of focus was something I could do and excel at.
Sandra, does that metaphor ring true to you as well, that fencing is a puzzle?
Absolutely. There's so much strategy involved, and you have to think as well as move. So it's a moving puzzle. And those of us that are a little bit of an adrenaline junkie and love a challenge, this is the perfect sport for you.
So if it's a puzzle and you have to think, and it's kind of in the moment chess of moves and counter moves, what are you looking at? Where are you looking, and what are you paying attention to?
Well, you're paying attention to your opponent. It's hit or get hit. So you're trying to constantly set traps and try to figure out what's going on. There's distance, there's timing, there's reaction, and you're trying to get in to hit your opponent without them hitting you.
What is an example of a trap that you're trying to set?
Well, you might step in with your body hoping to lure them in to hit, and then you're going to reach out and hit them instead and get away as quick as you can.
Michael, if I'm curious, I mentioned the age range here. It's an enormous, beautiful age range of under 10 to almost 90. Is this an ageless sport?
I think in a way it is. One of the real beauties to it to me, especially being around fencing clubs, is it's one of the last true intergenerational areas that you'll be in, where you have people who are in their 50s and 60s treating people who are in their teens, for instance, as peers. They're fencing together, they're talking together, they're giving each other advice, both from the old to the young and from the young back to the old.
Could a very good 60-year-old fencer do well against a novice 18-year-old?
Oh, hell yeah.
Because, so pure athleticism and fast twitch muscles, the 18-year-old might have those, but the skill and wisdom of the 60-year-old is going to win every time?
They're way faster than I am, but I often know where they're going before they've left the station.
What do you mean by that?
They're untrained at disguising their actions. So you know that they're about to lunge, but
and you're saying they may not even know yet, but you can just tell that that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, to a more experienced fencer, it's almost like there's a neon sign over their head saying, "Here I come," and they don't realize they're doing it.
A ton of tells, and you can read that.
Yeah, precisely that.
Sandra, so Michael was almost surprised, it seems, by becoming a fencer as a track and field star. How did you get started?
I ran into a family friend, and I was older. I was 25. I did not start young. And I was always involved in soccer and softball. And I was a big geek. So Star Wars was my thing. And he said, hey, I teach the class at the local university. Why don't you come in and take it? And I said, I don't go to college anymore. And he said, come take my class. And the minute I held the foil in my hand, it was like, no joke. The lights got brighter and I could hear music in my head. And I just knew it was something I had to do.
The music was John Williams' Star Wars music and you were holding a lightsaber?
It was very similar, yeah.
I mean, you brought up being a Star Wars fan. That really was a connection for you?
Honest and truly it was. It felt like home. There was a connection. And I just knew it was something I had to do. I'm 55 now and I haven't stopped.
30 years later.
Yeah.
As you've honed your skills, I mentioned you're a national champion. You've also won gold medals.
I'm a world champion.
In the world
veteran
champion.
Team USA,
yeah.
yes.
Can you still tap into, and I mean this in a respectful way, but in the sort of the childlike piece of this? I mean, because on some level, you're playing a game with fake swords.
Well,
or are they real swords? I mean, they're not sharp with the sharp tip.
They are not sharp,
right?
But they are metal.
Yes.
And once you have your blade in your hand, how can you not revert to being a child? Every time you put your mask down, you're giggling and smiling and laughing. It's
even
fun.
In the World Championships, you still feel that sense of play.
You have to have a sense of play if you want to be good at it.
What do you mean by that?
Well, if you take it so seriously and you are just locked in all the time, you're not having fun. It's still a sport. We do this because we enjoy this, not because we have to do this. So, yeah.
Michael, do you feel the same way?
Oh, yeah. When you clench down on a muscle long enough, it'll cramp up. The same thing happens to your brain. So if you have that sense of play and that sense of joy in it, is almost always where the best results come from.
How much has the sport changed in the almost 50 years that you've been doing it?
In some cases, the changes have been kind of subtle, but I think mostly in just its exposure and popularity. I mean, we were the odd kids in the corner. Certainly where I grew up in New England, there was no fencing at all. It wasn't until I was in college in New York that there was fencing that I was able to access. And there probably were fewer athletes fencing in the United States total then than there probably are just in the state of New Jersey now. It's exploded.
How do you explain that?
I can't.
I imagine you're thrilled by it, but you have no explanation.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, more and more fencing clubs, people getting out and seeing it, opportunities like this to tell people about it. There aren't the barriers that there were. When I started, if you were in college or you had a family friend that, said, hey, come take my class, you might have a chance to start. But otherwise, unless you were going to a private school, you didn't get exposed to it.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned a private school because I think of fencing as a kind of elitist sport or activity. Sandra, is that right?
I believe that if you want to fence, you can fence recreationally. It's inexpensive. USA Fencing has put forth many programs in the last 2 years to help with that. So we're getting more fencing in schools. We're getting more fencing out to park and recs where you can get the equipment through the park and rec. It's like $50 for 3 months to join. It's affordable now. Yes, if you want to travel and you want to do all the big tournaments, like hockey, it's an elitist sport when it comes to that.
Well, when travel
expensive.
is involved, any sport gets expensive.
Sure.
But you're saying that the basics are
it's affordable
relatively
now.
available.
It's definitely affordable now, much more so since USA Fencing, and we've had a lot of people.
And right here in Portland, Northwest Fencing Center is a not-for-profit. If somebody wants to do a 1-month intro course, just show up. You don't need equipment. You don't really need equipment at all until you decide maybe you want to compete, at which point you might have to get your own stuff. But all of it's provided. Show up with a pair of sneakers and give it a rip.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking right now about the 2026 USA Fencing National Championships and July Challenge. It is the largest fencing tournament anywhere in the world. It starts tomorrow in Portland for 10 days. Sandra Marchant is a world champion fencer. Michael McTeague has been fencing for nearly half a century. He is the former executive director of a nonprofit called the Northwest Fencing Center. I want to turn to coaching because both of you, in addition to being competitors, have made coaching a big part of your fencing lives. Sandra, what has it meant to you to become a coach?
Well, my original coach gave back to me when I couldn't afford to fence. And in exchange for lessons, I cleaned his house and I did chores like that to afford lessons so that I could train and be a competitor. So it was only natural that I felt like I wanted to give back, and I love working with people, so it was a no-brainer. Coaching means the world to me because it opens you up to meeting new people, diversity, and just when you coach somebody, you see the little light go on, and then you see the confidence build and how their character changes and they stand up a little straighter. So I believe it's just a natural step to take. It wasn't even something I even thought of.
Michael, what about you? How did you become a coach?
I was roped into it. My children fenced, and my oldest daughter was quite good. She was national caliber level by the time she was a freshman in high school. And she joined the high school fencing team, and this was in New Jersey before I'd moved out here. And New Jersey high school fencing is like football is in Texas. There are 70 men's teams, 70 women's teams. It's huge. And she said, could you come help the fencing team? And I figured, I suppose I can find some time. And I got down there on a Wednesday night, and I never left.
Wait, was it a secret, I suppose, or were you desperately hoping that you'd be asked?
No, it was a secret. I suppose I'll go. I mean, I actually sort of felt like it was going to be a chore.
Okay, you did.
Yeah. And what it clued me into, one of the other things I discovered about myself through fencing was I love to teach. And it became a huge part of my life, coaching that team and then coaching also at fencing clubs, coming out here to coach. It's a tremendous sport for teaching things because it's so much like life. It's an individual sport that you can't do alone.
Sandra, I mentioned the Athena project that you've been doing for a while now, including here in Portland. What is the Athena project?
Wow. Well, the Athena project was actually Michael's baby. This was his ingenuity come to life. He contacted me and said, hey, girls in fencing, not a lot of camps, opportunity, just women on women, girls on girls. And I was like, what do you mean? There's girls camps? And he was like, name one. And I was taken aback. And I said, this is something I have to do. And he's like, I want you to start this. I want to do it together. And I came out to Northwest, and we ran the first camp in 2023. We averaged 2 a year at Northwest, which Oregon is my second home. So flying in yesterday was like, I'm coming home. And it's a project where girls and women can go, and they don't have to be concerned about their bodies. They don't have all that hanging on them. They can build confidence. They can talk with other girls, other women about what's going on. Their bodies are changing. It's awkward being in a fencing center with a bunch of boys and not being able sometimes to speak up or feel like they have a place. It gives them a safe space, and they're more inspired. They have role models now. When I started fencing, there were no role models for me.
As no women?
No, not. I didn't know any of them. I didn't, even when you look around, and I was a comic book geek, there was Wonder Woman. Like, really, that was it. And I didn't have a superhero. I didn't have somebody to look up to. This gives women and girls a chance to have people to look up to make connections, to feel better about their bodies, to have a safe space, to be able to talk to people. I mean, in gym class in middle school, I failed it. And it wasn't that I wasn't the fastest runner in the school, because I was. And it wasn't that I did great in gym, because I did. I was afraid to change in the girls' locker room because my body was changing and I was uncomfortable with myself. So these camps give girls more of opportunities to be able to be accepted. So, yeah.
Michael, what does it mean to you to have this idea that you wanted to get off the ground to still be going?
Oh, it's a tremendous gift. I mean, because it was an all-women place, there were times where I could be like a little fly on the wall, peek in the window and hear the stories and stuff. And it's something that I wish had been there for my children when they came up. Fortunately, they were both real battlers, but they would have benefited tremendously from that, and it's nice to see that other folks are going to be able to benefit from that.
What do you think it means for the Northwest that this national championship is about to start here?
It's really heartwarming that it's back up here, because fencing has been something that you wouldn't think the Northwest would be a powerhouse in fencing. Yet over 50 years ago, it started to be a center of fencing, not just New York City and not just L.A. And it was largely down to two French brothers, Yves and Auriol, and his brother both came out here to be fencing masters. The Salle Auriol Fencing Club is still active up in Seattle, and the Salle Auriol Portland facility, when Yves went off to coach at Notre Dame's team, transformed into Northwest Fencing Center.
We've been talking almost exclusively about the fencers, but I'm curious now, before we say goodbye, about potential spectators. I did note that that this event is free for people to watch. So for people who don't really know that much about fencing, what do you recommend they do? But if they want to get a sense for it, when should they go, and what should they be looking for?
Each day, there's fencing for 10 days. They're going to see all ages. So when they walk in the door, there's a big wow factor. There's 3 different weapons in the sport of fencing, 3 different blades: foil, épée, and saber. They all have their own appeal. And if they just walk in and just take a look around, there's so many people that, like us, that are so engaged with the sport that would love to say, if someone came up to me and said, "Hey, what's going on here?" Anybody's happy to help and say, "This is what you see." Now,
is there an opportunity for people to try it out?
I believe USA Fencing and Northwest also have some booths there for that.
Yeah, there are going to be booths there for people to try things out. There's a lot of fun stuff. Like tomorrow, Rob Nelson is going to be there. He actually, the Big League Chew guy from Portland, he mostly sponsors kids events. The 30th and the 1st, the No Drama Llamas are going to be there. But basically, you just go to a USA Fencing table or to Northwest table and, "Hey, I'm new. Can somebody tell me what's going on?" And, I mean, nobody asks us about fencing.
They'll be mobbed with people who want to help and spread the word.
So
Absolutely.
cool to the spectator who just walks in.
Michael and Sandra, thanks so much, and here's to a great tournament.
Great.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
having us.
Michael McTeague and Sandra Marchant, they are fencers and coaches. They'll be taking part in the championship over the next 10 days. Thanks so much for tuning in to Think Out Loud on OPB and KLCC. I'm Dave Miller. Have a great weekend.
Think Out Loud is supported by Steve and Jan Oliver, the Rose E. Tucker Charitable Trust, Michael, Kristen, Andrew Kern, and Anna Sanford, and the Jackson Foundation.